mbadde mu mboozi ne neerabira nyina wano customer wange tugenda kugula moroka leero. So we linked up in the morning. Emma, thank you very much for reminding me. Babutakebera n'okutunda ku notifications ku simu. Olowooza mbadde sigenda kwerabira ntuke ku ssaawa ng'emu n'eddakiika nandyoka enzijukire. But I hope you guys are doing well. I'm very well. I'm grateful. Things are not bad. Bw'oba toli mulwadde tolina wakuluma. It's very important that you be grateful. Waliwo essaawa eno alwanira obulamu bwe naye nga yagenze mu buliri nga mulamu bulungi. But right now, nga banoonya oxygen. I have a colleague of mine, God bless him. We had a meeting, I think, on Monday, and he's asthmatic. And on Monday, I know so there is something they do to those asthmatic patients in their bad days. It's something that is almost like oxygen. And I thanked God that I'm not like that. But you'll be surprised that he's also grateful that he's alive. But bobanga toita mu situation where you don't need an inhaler, you don't need to you're not vegeta diabetic, but tewe kuba mpiso za insulin, tewe kebera pressure every day, teba kuba morphine. You need to really be grateful. So that's why I'm grateful. Boba mulamu. I've been in a situation where I had blood pressure and it wasn't easy. So today we're going to try and reflect. Yes, Innocent. Today we are dealing with something that you walk my mind to, something that we probably ignore at times. It's as we wait for the rest of the guys to come in. Bambi musonyi we nyo emboze genze ne kwata akati mu mmotoka wano. I have to actually be here, but Martha Emma yakomyewo mulo. So yesterday we had the market Tuesday, and we had lots of lessons for the guys that missed. We'll have another session still next Tuesday. Of course, you come and market, but I also give you a few tips on the best practice of marketing your business. And then, of course, I market myself as well. Nange Mompe business. And then we have Question Friday. You have to come and whichever question you have, someone has been there before, and they solved it, so they know how best you can solve your issues. They know how best you can handle some of those challenges you have. So today, my customer today is a food scientist. Treating amazzi bana national water mbuto yagala amazzi gabere nga gali poisonous simanya, I think even food poisoning, right?
Yes.
So he's a food
twagala gakusiwe
amazzi tagala bikabulungi yagala gabere clear. So for you guys nadala kati gwe Emma wasima amazzi, by the way, I think even JK. So I have the guy here. If you have questions, you can literally ask him now, because we may not have him again. Martha agenda okulembeka. Agenda okulembeka amazzi. We have the guy here, Ajokuwa Magezi. How do you continue doing that and then not get typhoid? Because most guys about it. I'm even surprised I've never gotten typhoid. I think probably because in my neighborhood there are no trees. There are no trees, so we don't have a lot of birds there in the area, and we have never really had a typhoid case in my home. The only time I thought I had typhoid, it wasn't really typhoid, it was apparently an infection. At least my abasajja bafuna infection. It so happened that n'abasajja bafuna infection. Eyo nze nali badde njivuga awewulo. Biribina. Naye nkumi 3 eyo. Arthur, I love your phone camera. Oli clear. Amina. S20. Yogita S20 naro. Yeah, so I dealt with my internet. I went back to MTN, Airtel, Shiraika Airtel, nange tetujja kwatagana bulungi. So I still have Airtel, but I'm using MTN for these live broadcasts on Wi-Fi. Yeah. So today, remember the day we did the live on Monday? I think that was Monday. We were talking about this young journalist that died in a car crash. In the Paso, yes. And we were discussing what could probably cause. Martha, you guys, there's something we don't know. So he crashed, and reports are that he dozed and got off the road.
He hadn't had enough rest previously.
Yeah, he hadn't had enough rest, but I still think that he dozed, but still I know that he was going really fast, because for a person that is going at 60 kilometers per hour, never dozing, the car cannot overturn. I've not yet gotten it. Okay, you open and drink. So okay, let me help you. So for a person that is doing 60 kilometers per hour, it's very rare that you can actually overturn. You can't. So I'm thinking he was probably trying to rush to get to where he was going, and that's how he overturned. He was really fast. So when you're fast, there are chances that the car will definitely overturn. But you can't. So well, that discussion went very well, and plenty of people learned from it. Actually yesterday I got someone who just returned from abroad. He called me and he said, "Thank you very much. I just want to meet you." He's not buying a car, but he just wants to meet me and have a chat with me. Basically, the conversations we have here, they can I say, in a way, educate or enlighten a lot of people, and they are really appreciative that we have this conversation. So and plenty of people have been WhatsApping me after that day that they learned a lot. And then yeah,
yes, ma'am.
You put the book inside. So Rachi Gansi wa wemmala okunaaba? That's a question. Rachi amazzi gamasiba. Do you use national water or bagana ag'okulembeka nganzi? But Innocent, you're not even in Uganda. Are you in Uganda? Innocent is not in Uganda. So mazzi chiga agakusiiwa aga tap.
It is usually to do with the pH of the water or the acidity of the water. There are regions which have water which is close to acidic, and also it is also contributed by the kind of mineral elements that are leached in the water. Most of for people who are
you cannot see him. My phone thing can.
For people who are abstracting water from underground.
Yes.
It tends to itch because of the dissolved minerals in the water. So the more the dissolved minerals are in water, it's what we usually term as water hardness. So if water is hard, it usually presents all those issues of itching, and it doesn't lather easily with soap. Yes, and there are techniques of making that water soft.
So that Innocent is not, I know that Innocent, you're not in Kampala. So Innocent is abroad. How can he soften that water more so that it doesn't?
Okay, wherever he is, he can go to the water technicians. They have what they call water softeners. They install them in a piping system, and they will soften that water. The cost is dependent on the availability and the kind of market you are in. I guess if you're in Europe, such installations are maybe cheaper than Africa, than any place in Africa.
But what if you can't install? Isn't there something that you can just probably use as soap?
Not really. For the issue of hardness and pH, you can treat, but going through the actual treatment process may also be slightly expensive. So it depends on your resources. You can actually treat that water, remove the minerals. There's what they call a process called reverse osmosis, which demineralizes the water, and it makes it very conducive for consumption. And there is also what they call water softening agents that you can use. Those you have to buy, and they always have the direction to use. They show you what to do with them.
Innocent, I think you've heard, and then the matter is saying there are sometimes it's not water. There are some people that are allergic to sponges.
Yes, that's also, it's true. There's some sponges, most so those which are a bit of synthetic material. I think they tend to, people tend to get allergies with them. Baby, what's your name?
A bunch of sand.
How old are you?
4 years.
You're a big man now, 4 years.
Sorry guys, I should have said excuse me. I'm back. Yeah, so I did not actually believe in allergies. I did not believe in allergies before, but one of my sisters would be allergic to perfume, and I said wekoza allergies are abazungu. And then later on,
Have a good day. Be blessed.
Then later on, I started getting hiccups. The hiccups are not going. The hiccups were not going, and I was thinking, why am I getting? So I would go to the hospital, and they would give me tabs. The hiccups will go periodically, and then they would come back. Then one of the doctors told me, try and find out what you're eating that is not reacting very well to your body. So
spiced foods.
Then I realized I started taking things out of I started stopping to eat things, and then it wasn't going. But then I realized nali npomerwa nnyo mudalasini namwita batya cinnamon. So I loved tea with cinnamon. Is really nice, and I would drink it like 10 times a day, and the hiccups would not go. So then I tried to put it out of my system, and then the hiccups went. And then every time I ate a cake with the cinnamon, the hiccups would come back. So then I realized people are actually allergic to stuff. So then that's when I started realizing we actually have allergies.
Perfumes, me, I don't like most perfumes. I'm a lot of a fusion of scents or aromas.
Which is what most people use these days.
They trigger a lot of allergies. I just start sneezing. So it happens. Same with spices. Some overly spiced food may cause you allergies.
Yeah. I think I'm also allergic to liver. The liver of the cow.
Okay.
So that gives me food poisoning. And I think these are things that you discover with time as you live, probably as you get older. Yeah, so anyway guys, today we are reflecting, and this is probably very good that it's also happening now. Innocent sent me a text of you see the picture that is on the profile of this live broadcast. It's a picture of the home of the young journalist that died in the car crash. Now this is not to try and take away his privacy, because well, he's dead, right? The best thing we can do is learn from him. So Innocent sent me a picture of the home where they buried this young man, and I cannot say I verify the picture. That's what Innocent sent me. Now Innocent, kindly share your thoughts on this in the comments. I'll read them as well to these guys, as I also share what I thought, what I interpreted from the message you sent me. And what Innocent was saying, that it was very nice that we actually talked about this gentleman. You see, God rest his soul. When I decided to do that live broadcast, I wasn't doing it for us to actually to think about our lives, but I was doing it mostly for us to be careful as we drive, because majority of us have driven or are going to drive. And I realized that whatever happened to this gentleman, God rest his soul, happened because in a way he did not know the implication of what he was doing. Probably he thought by driving faster he will get home faster before he sleeps, whereas if he had driven slow and got into the slow lane, he probably would have been safer. And of course, he was in the slow lane. Looking at how the accident happened, he was in the slow lane. For those people that don't know, if a road has two lanes, the slow lane is the lane on the left in Uganda. So that lane you can go as slow as you want. But if you go in the lane on the right, or if it's a 3-lane, you go to the 3rd lane and then you're slow. But in the slow lane, you can go as slow as you want. So I'm assuming that he was in the slow lane because he felt that he was sleepy. According to reports, I know if he was sleepy, he felt it, and he decided to be in the slow lane just in case he probably sleeps. But then what he did wrong is he was not going as slow as he should have gone. So that's probably the mistake he made. And when I did that broadcast, it was for us to realize that most of the accidents that happen are actually our fault. Yes, I know our roads are bad, our medical health system is terrible and all that, but you can as well be careful and try to avoid blaming these other things. Because if you're careful and don't crash, if let's take an example of the border guys who say if you don't have that saying and you ride carefully, there are chances that you will not end up in Mulago, and then you'll not end up blaming the terrible health system for your people not blame the health system for your demise. So I just wanted us to realize that sometimes when we get into these bad situations, majority of the time it's our fault. But then Innocent took it in a different angle that I believe that we can talk about today, the angle of us reflecting on our lives and how important we are to the people in our lives and how important we are to the society. So the picture, before you went to the live broadcast, I'm sure you saw that picture, right? And for you guys, you can definitely go off and come back on. You can look at that picture, and that picture shows you where this guy comes from. And from the picture, from the interpretation, remember, for the guys that did geography, photographic interpretation, you can interpret and know that this guy was a rock. He was a pillar in his family. He was one of the, if not the only bread earner in the family. So he was really important. Now you can imagine if he had siblings that were depending on him, what are they going to do? If he had a mother or father or grandmother who depended on him, what is this person going to do? He probably, if you believe in God, then you know that prayers of other people impact you a lot. I'm one of the people that believes that if many people pray for you, even if you don't pray, you get, that's probably one of the reasons why people that employers, if a person has a business that employs like 100 people, they will not again to church. Every time these 100 people go to their churches or
interceding
yeah?
on his behalf.
Yeah,
they
intercede on his behalf, and they're saying, God bless our boss, give him the wisdom to keep this company going so that we get jobs, right? We keep getting our money, and then that works for him, and that has helped me a lot because this is a muntu never, at least on more allowance if you don't have the money to pay a salary, so that they because an allowance would be very small, omuntu more allowance ya mitwalo ngebiri, but eje mitwalo ebiri jizo kola ekinene kuba ojja kwesanga akozako transport bwa 5 n'asigazaamu ogumu ekitundu, and it does a lot. And I learned this because there are times that we have gone through as a business, and I realized that it wasn't actually me, it was the prayers of these other guys that I work with that got us the business that we got. So when you look at that photograph, a lot of people came to bury him because he was popular. But after the burial took place, because you realize he was buried in a casket that is really expensive, probably because the employer bought it. He was probably buried in a suit because the friends bought it. And probably they hired a funeral service, the family did not pay for that. And right now, if there is a sharp person in a bank, whatever bank balance he had has already disappeared because he was popular. You get? So if you die and you're not known, there are possibilities that your money will stay there because the bank doesn't know you have died. But like a person like him, his death was published, so it's possible that someone went and withdrew his money there and then, so that they find the account open, empty, and probably that his family doesn't even know which banks he has an account in. They will not go and claim. the properties he has, and I think this is why we definitely need to be good morning JK, we definitely need to be very open with the people that are close to us. Bamanye, I've been with men, especially abasajja abakulu, ngakuganze mukazi wange tamanya mataka gange, mukazi wange tamanya, like why would you marry a woman you don't trust to that level nti ogulayo eka yettaka n'ogimukweka nti olw'okubajja kugibba. So me, I find that don't get close to people that you would not trust. For me, the moment I lose trust in someone, that's the end. That's the end, because then you should find someone else that you can trust. Because why would you sleep in, share a bed with someone nenga bwe bakugamba why tata Asani mama Asani senga ovaawo olwaleero amanye ebyapa gye biri nti ebyapa biri mikwano gyange, you get, nenga ate mama Asani mwana wo, mama Asani, he should know where your properties are, you get. So I find that we definitely need to reflect, because Innocent's message was that we should definitely reflect and we should use this guy's death. God rest his soul in God rest his soul in peace. In eternal peace. We should use it as a learning. I have friends who know all my property and accounts. Definitely. So we need to have that kind of openness, like JK, that you need to have people that know where your stuff is, so that in case any trouble happens to you, because I'm sure, yeah, you definitely need to make a will. And JK, you don't need to make a will that is written if you're not comfortable writing, because normally writing can get you thinking that, okay, maybe I'll die tomorrow. You can do a video and put it on a Google Drive somewhere, and have a number of people know that there is a Google Drive, and probably hide a password in a safety deposit box somewhere that can only be accessed when your death certificate is out. Yeah, and then that, because the video cannot be disputed. Even if it's an audio. Even if it's audio, why is it disputing? The audio can be disputed, but the video with your picture on it, saying that, okay, this is Arthur and the date is this, and Ntegeera bulungi, and yeah, this is my will, and yeah, the video cannot be disputed. As for me, I find that I don't really think I need a will. I've said all these things like very openly. I have 2 kids. Like I have 2 kids and I'm not going to have any more. Era senga afande baleta yakana akawere nti kango yo mukazi mumukube emiggo azirike n'okuzirika, because I'm one of those careful dudes that doesn't just sleep around. So atete babaletera ngomano w'emyaka omusanvu, and these things we say openly, like how you see how I'm saying them, I say them to people openly. Okitegeera tebabaletera ngomwana omulala ebintu by'abaana bange na mukazi wange, era lwe ndiyawukana naye ensi yonna ejja kumanya nti kati twawukanye, ebibya bitwale n'ebyange mbitwale, kati bye tulina byonna byaffe. And I will tell you the scene in Uganda wange agenda kujaga menti njagale, but ochaba nti I'm doing a will. Right now this is a will,
and it's
being recorded live.
It will be in the archives of YouTube.
Exactly. Era bwe nfanga ne bagamba nga nfudde talina kirambo, mwe mujje mulete YouTube video no mugirete. Okitegeera. So if I don't cancel this, nze nyina abaana babiri n'omukyalo omu, okitegeera tebabalete tewabangawo omukazi ajja n'aganze mbadde mukazi we nga mwagala nnyo muyinamu omwana. Bank account mukyala wange zonna azimanyi. The fact is, everything nze kati by'abaana bange kati atani ayagala abaana bange okusinga maama waabwe tewali. And I'll tell you that no one actually loves your kids more than your partner gwe mwabazaala nabo. Why I'm saying that is because nze nkuze ndi mulekwa, and I'm telling you, ne bwaba muganda wo n'aba muganda wo nganza I'm your brother, I cannot love your kids the way your wife would love them. I'll definitely love my kids more than I would love yours. So you can't say I have kids with this woman, but then I don't trust her with my kids' properties. I totally understand for abasajja nti abakazi when they fall in love asobola okugaba ebintu byonna n'abiwa the new guy, but that's a risk you have to take, that probably mukazi wa ategeera to the level that tajja gaba bintu byobiwa musajja mulala ifo kyobiterekera abaana. My first, when I rented the first time, I rented this, I think it was this room here.
For business?
No, it was business, both business and living. I was in the campus. And I'd live in the back room, on all video library. Then my second house, when I come up, it's almost this same format. It had 2 bedrooms.
That's when we said Ebenezer. See how far the Lord has brought
I know.
us.
And then I realized I was giving the landlord a lot of money. And that was about 3 million a month. And a year. And I realized this 3 million actually, when I had a friend of mine, and he would tell me, hey Arthur, ofuna sente okusinga, how come tonna zimba? And I told him okuzimba kusoboka. Nangamba ne woba ne million emu. Okitegeera osobola nangamba you come I show you my house. We went there in Chitezinga Gaya in emizigo esatu, double. And he was living in one ngaba emirala bagipangisa. Nangamba ziwano tateka n'emitwalo 5 okuzimba. And just like that.
Which year was that, sir?
That's 2000 and yeah, 2015. 2016 I bought my first plot. 2017, no, actually 2015. That very year 2016 I bought my first plot in around November, and then 2016 nenyingire nyumba. Which together, like I'm a very, if I don't do something immediately, I may not do it. I'm that kind of person.
Just do it.
Yeah, and then I did it and I entered, and then I realized, okay, that's why I was telling you, and you may buy a million bibidi. Which together, utandika nakakadde kolina, and slowly, because that's how we pay mortgage in Uganda. So our friends and lawyers, when you die, they can also steal your properties. I have witnessed this happening somewhere, because this man trusted lawyers, and when he died, then the lawyers declare a few properties. Yes, women control a lot. I can't tell my woman my bank balance. She would start desiring many things, yet I have a goal for my savings. But JK, I find that it's whatever the woman desires is how you have brought her. Engage zomumanyiza mukatize mukazi wange tasobola kutandika kudesiringa bintu byamanyi byetuteetaaga. Okitegeera. Right now we know that we need a second car, because there are times I really need to work late and I can't work late because the kids are still at school and they need to get home. So we know that we need a second car, but we also know that at home we are not as comfortable as we wish to be. So we need to actually first work on that before we get a second car. We also know that we need to push the business somewhere. So there are so many things that we know that as a couple that need to be done before we actually buy a car. So I think the other thing that JK you have is probably because omukazi onamuzalamu na mwana okitegeera and tonamuwasa temunabeera na mwenna. So you really, I think you really have a lot of reasons. Then Innocent is said, by writing or recording a will, need legal advice from lawyers. Innocent, a will is a will. We've seen people that write wills without lawyers. Ngatula ne mukwano gwe ne bawandiika na signinga na muwako copy na kwata copy ebiri na nagenda najiwo omuntu omula, because that's how wills are done. They are normally 3 copies, right?
3 copies.
So 1 copy that you have, probably you give your wife or anyone else, but you give probably you keep it. You give 2 copies to 2 of your friends. That's how I've seen it. And they're never lawyers, but a will is a will as long as a person writes it himself and signs. Good morning, Pascal Joseph. Emma, you're right. Even your wife can give her kids' properties to other people. My uncle died and his wife got married. She gave birth to 2 kids and that man also died. Yeah, even your wife can, but I personally find that your properties, the properties you're leaving for your kids, are safer with their mother. Which together. I will tell you that when my dad died, I was 2 years, so ebintu bino mbiwuliramu stories. When my dad died, he was what you can call rich. But ebintu teyabirekera bakyala be, yabirekera baganda be. And they sold stuff. Batunda bidi. And I will tell you, I'm the only educated person mu baana ba taata wange ate nakulira bukojja, and I was one of the youngest. Bali bakulu bange bonna ne gwe bali ka mu senior 3 tebeyongere from the time that our dad died. Yet nga yali musajja mugagga nga alina taxis, alina zi Costa, okitegeera. You can imagine, I was born in 1990, the guy died in 1992. In 1992 omuntu alina zi Costa nga alina zi taxi, nga alina amakenna tete. Okitegeera. So he had some wealth. Nga alina amataka eyo mu kyalo. But once he died, they literally sold everything. Abaana be ne batasoma na kusoma. and this was not the mothers. But I also find, Martha, that it will also depend on the kind of woman you marry. Bw'owasa omukazi nga mugwagwa nga tategeera. Like this friend of mine yadangamba mukazi we yamugamba why tuzimbe. That's a woman to keep. Abakazi abalaba gatugende ku KFC. Birthday yange wangulidde kaki. Okitegeera waliwo abakazi nga bye balowooza. Waliwo abakazi abera hana KFC asima yaleeseyo kagundi ka promotion bye tuba tugula. There are things that I've never really seen in my relationship happen. Of course, it's the control of the man as well. So I find that it depends on also the kind of woman you marry. If you marry a woman nga naye taina focus, definitely, and I totally understand that a woman can fall in love with a man neba musiriwaza, but kakati nze bwembanze nga Arthur mukwano teguyinza kunsiriwaza kutuuka ku ekyo kitegeeza waliyo n'abakazi abategeera to the level nti ne bwaba agudde mu mukwano tajja kusirwala nti atagaba ebintu by'abaana be abigabira omusajja omulala. Era wawasa kintuntu nga kiri awo tekitegeera bano abasajja abawasa nyashi. You get it? Good morning, Uncle Salmina. This is what I did for my family. We opened up a company and everything we have is in the company and we all have shares. This was after consulting my lawyer. That's a very good approach. That's a very good approach as well. She came back to my uncle's house and gave the properties she got from the second man to the children she had with my uncle. Sophia women. But this is good, Martha, for your uncle's kids. This is good for your uncle's kids. But Martha, that woman seems to be one of the opportunistic women. There are women that we marry.
The go-getters.
The go-getters. There are women we marry, like my age. Kadesawe, no majority of the chicks that fall for me are go-getters. Which again, at the time that we fell in love with my current wife, nange nali say sinza kweyagala. I look at pictures then, ningamba, I think at that time I felt myself nange nali njeulira. But then when you look at pictures then, nange nali say ronda. I'm sure when she looks at her pictures as well, but me personally, when I look at her pictures then, she was still eatable. But I'm thinking for us as men, but of course for me, women are emotional. They think with their hearts, and it depends on what you tell them. So for them, I don't think they really focus on how we look. Now if we focus on how they look, probably that's why you'll find that I would still literally vibe her again. Now if she were focusing on how we looked, right now a chick can fall for you nagambo olabika bulungi. Then ebyo bigambo byayite biyita. Okitegeera. Some women love desperately. Nobody can get anything from a company when he's not a shareholder. I did this because my relatives are too greedy. I think, Brian, I also think that you need to make your woman sharp enough. Your woman needs to be ngatanyigirwa mutoke, because let's say you die and your woman are weak. I think there is a journalist or that's the AC guy.
Okay.
Avuga golf. Yeah, I feel like golf here. So if you have trouble with the AC, Sam,
okay,
he's very good with AC. So Brian, I think there is a journalist we saw Abukede TV. He was popular, and then they built a house with the girlfriend, and then when the guy died, family you need to marry one of his brothers. Like, what kind of bullshit is that? And they told her, get out of the house if you can't do it. Like, how would my family come to my wife and then they say, that
is one of those old Hebrew stock Arabic customs.
But it should happen.
The person, if a person dies, one of their brothers
takes over
the wife.
But that should happen probably. If it is to happen, it should happen in one of those rich families. The intakes nga mzee yazimbira omwana we nyumba okitegeera, then I would totally understand. But if you are a poor family nga n'ennyumba gye bakayanira tennaggwa nga n'omukazi akulaga yaleetanga ssente ze ne bazimba okitegeera, then this family is basically idiotic. Yesterday we were talking about one of the guys in the estate there. Ennyumba gye basulamu bazimba, you know how mizigos be. Bazimba giringa mizigo mwe basula. but the guy has a second wife. And I'm asking myself, like, a second wife for what? You're literally broke. Like, why do you get a second wife? I'm imagining that if you're going to get a second wife, it should be ngolimo gaga. Gamaka galimu first wife galimwe. Ge gali aga muntu gatunulako naga musajja yakolamu nga mugulira ekimotoka yevuga aina business naye nga literally the shop omukazi aina ka shop awe waka omukazi yagula emmere ye waka yaleetayo n'obugoyego yawo ngogagamba olumu omusajja emmere emule muggula omusajja bye babbuloka b'okukyalo of course aina yakamotoka ke but he's literally always idle but he has a second wife. I don't know, Innocent, if we're going in the direction you wanted us to go, but I find that this is all reflection. Arthur, she gave the properties to rich children and elder ones. These little kids are really poor. There's a problem with that woman. I think you good morning, Gaetano. You definitely be fighting for the poor kids so that they get also something. Hi Arthur, kindly please, which 5 to 6 million car can easily go to up country to and from Kampala constantly? Chibina, Ipsam, Karibu mpozi ngojagala nnyo, but the Karibu is one car that you will not get resale value for afterwards. It's a strong car if you're not looking to upgrade later, but it's something that you would probably be stuck with. Yeah, so that's, I'm saying Chibina because Chibina is one car that I've driven ngateri muna oil November and into Kampala. Then those cars are very easy to maintain, even up country anyway people can easily maintain. The spares are available. 6 million can probably I'm saying probably Raum nedda Raum moroke iswaza you can get a Primo Karaum akakakadde kasa orokuswaza mbantu katyati Raum eyo linda makanika je era there is someone that wanted the Raum and I talked to him nanga Arthur Raum omuntu ajja kutukyawa bajje ku YouTube channel yo okitegeera bakuogerere Raum nedda ate nga nange ndagivuga ko I know okitegeera. So those two cars I think pose ne Primo bobo gifunye Primo is hard jakuba million nga 7-8 enkadde 10 ne 10 tosobola gifuna namu million 6 tosobola ejja kutawanya mpozi waliwo akamotoka kako kafutuyiseeko kamarino kalinga exi kako yabwe bumu exi marino nako kasobola okutambula katigete Camry asobola gifuna naye Camry nayo tejja kuba ajja tuku ku upgrade nga buli mu million Camry and Chesa Chesa enteze motoka ajja tuku ku upgrade nga bamwa million emu okitegeera ate zinywa nnyo Camry ne Chesa ezenkadde. So you stick to those two cars. Let me see. Good morning, Philip. Arthur, what is Chibina? Chibina is the Corona 190. Corona 190. Brian is saying but I don't think they can see it. Let me see if you can. Let me zoom in. I have zoomed in a lot. The Chibina is the Corona 190. I'll zoom in later for you to see. So the Chibina is Corona 190. What has happened here with the chona? Okay. Yeah, so my wife works in the cardiology department and Chirudu Hospital. She's strong. The other thing that I think, Brian, why abachala bano babanyigira mu toke nga abasajja bafudde is because abasajja tebabeesigana bintu okitegeera nti Brian, you'll buy land and then you'll give your brother. You'll buy land, you'll give to your sister. You'll buy land, you'll give to your mother. Do you know what signal this sends to your family? It sends a signal to your family that you don't trust this woman. And there must be reasons why you don't trust your woman. Like they are asking themselves, why would my brother sleep with a woman in the same bed for 7 to 10 years and still not be able to trust her with the documents? So the moment you die like this, for them in their mind is like, okay, ono musajja watesigira mukazi we, definitely watekoko ali omusajja omulala. Ba mu nyumba yaffe. Ujaletamu omusajja omulala. Okitegeera. So in a way, there is no way my family would come to my wife and they start saying va mu nyumba bichi because they've literally seen us struggle from like zero. Okitegeera. You know the kind of struggle where your family starts thinking that probably mukazi ayinza oba yakuleetera struggles ezo. Okitegeera. But you struggle ne mwezimba from zero noddako ne ku zero ng'ali naawe noddamu n'oyimuka to a level where they think oba Arthur mubbi okitegeera. So that kind of woman ngabala was struggling in
Illuminati.
Exactly. Actually to the level where I work with one of my cousin brothers and I've told him constantly tulina okubatu bale walabe bwe tukolera tulina ekintu ekigulumu. He sits on that thing bwogweri ofa bufi and I tell him gundi vaawo ojja kugwayo nfune project ya UN next month bagambe nakusaddaka okitegeera because I've built my company to the level where people, big organizations can trust us with work. Kati bwogwayo nenfuna project ya UN $1 million olabe batandika okugamba Arthur yasaddaka omwana waffe. You get so you work to the level where you actually have to be that careful nti good business can actually come in any time nti omuntu kiba kizibu kuva eri n'atandika kumanyira mukazi wo nti n'emikwano gyo gyennyingi gisobola omulwanirira. So you need to be very careful actually sometimes when you do these things nti when you don't you mistrust your woman to the level where baganda bwe bamanyi everything ekikwatako ng'omukazi alina byatakola ki. It sends a signal to them that okay ono teyesiga mukazi we. Even you women Martha, you have a husband but then your husband alina properties zatakola ki zatamanyi. They will disrespect your husband when you die if you die before him. This is a rare thing in Africa. Women live, men die faster.
Not just in Africa,
everywhere,
all over.
So the women stress the men to death.
No, it's not that. You see, women are stronger and women need to accept that women are a stronger.
Me, I don't think women are stronger. I don't think women are stronger.
The strength is not physical.
It's emotional.
It is emotional, and their strength is in how to harness hardship.
No.
Yes.
I actually think women are not stronger emotionally, but I think women were prepared for hardships.
Yes.
Especially our generation. They were prepared to know that things are going to be hard. The mothers used to sit them down. Yes. Now if our fathers, because they want to be strong, they never actually tell us. They don't tell us what hardships they go through. So we are never.
In English it's called diving in the deep end. We always dive in a deep end.
We don't know what. Like me, I was raised by a woman, my grandmother, and she's a very strong woman. Most of my siblings have been raised, my cousins, of course, they have been raised by women. Martha is saying that after we change blood every month, that's why we live longer. We don't stress you guys. Women can stress until you stand up for yourself and you say this is it. Let me tell you, I'll give you an example, and I'm sure my wife wouldn't mind me sharing this. When we were starting out, my wife wanted 5 kids. But later on, we talk about this often, and she tells me, Arthur, forgive me, I was ignorant.
5 is a crowd.
No, she was ignorant, and she says it openly now. Yarita mani, the kind of impact a kid can have in your life. We have 2, but she tells you, I can't. Like those 2 kids over there, yebakasawa mukaga. Because she wanted 5 kids, I normally tell her, you wanted 5, then 2 should be a walkover. You can manage your 2 kids. But she tells you that 2 kids are very too much work. You have you eat. You eat for lunch because we are going to really move. Beyond. So I personally think
this is the beauty of marriage. They pack for you.
Oh no, I'm packing the breakfast. You leave that. You'll eat it as a snack later. You leave that. Eat this breakfast. So but me, I realized that if I hadn't talked to my wife earlier on in a relationship, now to get where I stand, we would still be pulling the rope. Majority of the time abakazi bagamba amusajja tayagala kulabirira abaana naye ng'omusajja bamuzaalira abaana bamumenya okitegeera. And because women have been prepared for the hard life, their mothers have been going through suffering and they prepared them for suffering. So ojja kwesanga nga for them they are okay with this suffering okitegeera. Me, I'm not okay with suffering. I told my wife earlier on abaana bano ababiri bakola ki bamala I can give them a good life, I can give them a good education, I can clothe them. Babatuma kati babatumye kanzu ku somero bagenda zambala ku Friday, I can go and comfortably buy the kanzus. But you have 5 kids and you have to buy 5 kanzus.
You cannot give then you have few kids, you give them the quality of life.
Exactly. But she has realized later on, because kalesawe eno mwana bwala malaria wa mitwalo 8-10 ngoina abaana ate malaria atero kwata abaana omulundi kumpi gumu kati ngo spending emitwalo 5 mu ddwaliro okitegeera. No wonder men run away. Anyway, Innocent, I want us to go back on the Mulamwa. I'm the only girl here, so I have to defend women. Do you know the number of women who raise children single-handedly? Brian, I know there are so many women that raise kids single-handedly, but I think it's because they were prepared for this. Men were not prepared for it. I don't agree with that man. Why? Actually, quite the contrary of you. Always on the front line, you are bound to get hurt. Of course, men have a shorter lifespan for that reason. Definitely, Isaac, we work hard, we stress too much. Never to work to ina abana. Nzengo musajja, I think too much. I think a lot about these kids more than actually the mother. Because the future, whatever happens to these kids, it's my legacy.
Having the end in sight.
Exactly. Like me, everything Bulichenkola, I'm defending the Chisenyi name because my kids have that name. I want my legacy to go on and on and on and on because my kids are going to have kids, and I want my grandkids to walk into a place and they say our Jaja is Arthur Chisenyi, and the people will be that's your grandfather. You get
name rings a bell.
Exactly. And because I used to go to places and I say I'm called Arthur Chisenyi, and the guys would be asked, are you a relative to Michael Chisenyi of Kabozi? And I'm like, oh, so it makes sense to make a name. And that's why I'm working really hard. So Bulichenkola and Chikola in that direction. There was once a man. So I do believe women are strong as strong as well, because personally I was raised by a mom alone, so it evens out. Other men should endure. Men should always listen to women. Let me tell you, my wife wanted 5 kids, but right now she agrees that she wanted those kids out of ignorance. The biggest reason she wanted kids was because her mother had 5 kids, so she thought that having 5 kids is the norm.
The generations are different.
Generations are different. Right now, she realizes that education is expensive, the health is expensive, and then she also realizes that some of the hardships that her parents are having right now are because they had many kids. And they are not because their parents are not hardworking, but because they had many kids. You realize that so many parents bagenda ngakona Dubai kuchakarako atenga tebajja genda because we are badagenderako Dubai okuchakara ayina abaana abokolaki abokuwerera. You find that a man is in his 50s 60s, he has a kid in P7. Olichakarako dinga dala toli mugagga muvundu. So I think why the men die first is because the men always work hard and stress a lot to put food on the table and make the women always happy, so that stress is the cause. Gaetano, not all men put food on the table. I totally know this, that not all men put on. So actually, not all men even parent. Some men act as women. Banji nyo Martha, you're right. Martha, the majority do. Actually, Gaetano, I seem to disagree here. Not majority of men do. Majority of men these days are weak. They don't even provide.
And you know why majority of men are weak? Because of the having no father figure.
Exactly.
Whereas ladies are strong, but ladies cannot raise a better boy child alone.
I've always been saying this.
A father figure needs to be there to guide a man to be a man. Exactly. Otherwise, a lady will raise a woman, a woman in a man.
Exactly.
Because they always tend to be soft on them.
Exactly. And I find that women are softer on their boy children and men are softer on the girl children. But I also, on top of that, I think girls also need a father figure. We have so many single mothers these days because those girls don't have a father figure. So they always believe I can do it on my own. I can do it on my own. Seguya, bichi. And also, most of these girls that I found that most of the girls that sleep around, they do because they don't have a father figure.
Yes, they don't have a
so
father
kati tata teyamwana ko kana kango nyumye olabika bulungi. So buli musajja akawana akakuba. Nebesanga nti omwana bamuyitamu nga abasajja batano naye nga bonna bamuyisemu lwa kintu kimu kumuwaanako. Okitegeera. So Martha and the ladies that are going to watch this later, I personally think that you need to have fathers in your kids' life. I have never had a father figure, but I wouldn't consider myself a weak man by any measure. And JK, that's totally true. You're one of the exceptions. It's not that all the guys that were raised by women are weak, but I can tell you that majority of men that were raised by women are actually weak. Majority of them, you get. I'm not disputing the fact that kids need a father figure. They do. And trust me, JK, you see how strong you are. If you had a father figure, a real father figure, you would have been stronger. I personally believe that I am strong, but I would have been stronger if I had a father figure. You get, because there are things that nyina byentomera byesali tomedde senga taata yaliwo kuba nali mulabye nga abitomera ne muyigirako. I will tell you that most of the guys that I know that we grew up with that had father figures balina bye batatomera fate bye tutomera. And lwaki tebabitomera? Because batata babitomera balaba oba olumu ne babagamba kino tokitomeranga. You get, and that's where the weakness starts. I'm weak in that angle, that there are things I react to when I should not be reacting to them. But a guy that had a father figure doesn't react, and this is mostly in societies that are not as organized, like Uganda. The Ugandan society is not as organized as Europe. A person that didn't have a father figure in Europe can probably survive much better than a person in Uganda, because Uganda is ruthless. Surviving in Uganda should be added on the CV. It's ruthless.
Mostly in Kampala.
In Kampala, yeah. You need to actually be strong. So the strength actually is built by the environment. My boyfriend said he can't marry a girl who was raised by a single parent unless one died. But if they separated, he can't. Yeah, girls have issues. Girls that have been raised by a single mother, especially, me, I've realized they have issues.
They want you to be the boyfriend and the father,
which you can't be. and that's very bad. So Innocent, I think you're still here. Innocent wanted us to kind of reflect on our importance, in our lives when we are alive, and also on our importance on the lives of the people, in the lives of the people that are close to us. If you're married, your importance to your wife, your importance to your children, okay? Your importance to your parents if you take care of them. Just imagine if you died today, and probably that would guide your decisions and everything you do. Just imagine if you died today, Martha, which people would be affected? How much would they be affected? Would the country be affected? I personally know that if I died today, a lot of people would be affected. A lot of dreams would be crushed. So every decision I make it with that in mind, that okay, on top of my kids, I don't want my kids to grow up without their father. So I wake up very early Saturday morning and I go for my run. I wake up Sunday morning and I go for my run. I want my kids to grow up with their father. I know. No, they do. I know that my kids need to have their father alive. Take on. I know that my kids need to have their father alive, so that my kids need to have their father alive, so that they can see from him, they can be mentored by him. And I know that my wife needs to have her husband alive, first of all, to get help with the kids, the boys can be sometimes my kids are naughty, and then she says, should I call daddy? And then they behave. Just hearing their father's voice, they start behaving. So I know that first of all she needs help with that, but she also needs help in a way that Wadabakazi is very strong, but they have their own weaknesses. They can be controlled, mind controlled by men. They can, the man is a bad influence. Women can go down a road they can never come back from. That's why you find that some girls use drugs, some girls end up as prostitutes. It all stems from the kind of partners they choose.
The story of Whitney and Bobby Brown.
Whitney and Bobby Brown. I'm not familiar. Tell me as well.
Of course, she got into drugs because of Bobby Brown's influence.
Yeah. So you realize Whitney Houston, and she died of a drug overdose.
Exactly.
So Bobby Brown was a very bad influence on Whitney, And then you can imagine the kind of trauma that the daughter has, knowing that my mom died of drug overdose. Like, okay, at her age, how could she overdose? So definitely women, knowing that not every man is actually straightforward, and especially for women that have had kids, for a woman that has had kids to actually get a man that is straight, which they will definitely most of the times get those, especially like if for example you have built a life for your family and then you die, it's very hard for your woman to get a man that will actually love her. Opportunistic. There are chances that your woman will also get a guy that is the daughter died. I didn't know. Sorry about that. The daughter died.
I also didn't know.
What happened, JK? Is it still drug overdose? So Emma, yes, we are buying a car today with this gentleman here. But JK, I don't know if you caught this. This gentleman is a food scientist. And JK wasima amazi
with the practice in juice making, soda making,
yes,
milk, dairy processing,
yes,
water treatment,
yes,
and meat processing, meat processing.
Basically all foods.
Yes. With I've been in practice for over 10 years.
10 years.
To be precise, 11 years.
11 years.
Since 2012.
2012. So this guy is a food scientist. For you guys that wants to start factories, that have already started factories in Gabicha Atabuse, for salmon, Ariku farm, things like you want to start your own chicken processing. Nagambe, one way for you to make a lot of money, salmon, is by actually selling the chicken yourself, the meat yourself. You can make a lot of money, and the food scientist is here. How do you preserve those things without making it dangerous for people? How do you make water safer for you to shower, drink, and all? They the tips already in that tanika. National water I harvest the water. So we have him here. He's going to go on the live and share his contact. Again and share his contact in the comments for the guys if you want to consult him on that matter. Yeah. So we're going to look for a car for him today, and I will share in the community tabs later on what car we get. Arthur, did you know that my heart is shattered? Martha, who has been my hope, has a boyfriend. Martha has a boyfriend. Martha, do you have a boyfriend? Bulijo ina boyfriend. Ali Uganda, bwabali Uganda muleke. Bwabali Uganda muleke. Emma ya muri kumawanga mwenna muri ba hustlers kato Emma. Gwe mujo kwetegeera naye. Ate Arthur, do I need to buy anything to put into my water tank? Yes, he was telling me. Yeah, he's going to type Emma, he's going to answer your question right there. Yeah, he's seeing. Yeah. So we have been diverted. Anyway, so you realize that the kind of boyfriend you have, kind of husband you have, or the kind of wife you have can actually influence the kind of life you have. So some of the guys that are unsuccessful, some of the chicks that are struggling, probably it is happening because of the kind of partners that they have. Partner who they are bad influence, there are chances that you're not going to progress in life. And you're too good. So you realize that Winty Hostel's daughter also died. Jake is going to tell us why. I didn't say my boy lover, he's a boyfriend. Hey, Emma, Guma, it's just a friend. Just a friend. Guma. Anyway, guys, the reflection today is that we need to understand how important we are in other people's lives. If you died today, how many people's lives would you affect? Forget the fact that you would not feel the pain. Go Jakubo food day. Okay? But how many people would be affected by your death? Me, I personally know that my kids' lives would not be the same. Especially the fact that I'm monogamous. Of course, there are dads that die and their kids actually say, okay, Kali. Probably because the dad has not really been helpful in their lives, or the dad has not been providing. They cry because, okay, a piece of me has gone, but you get. But if you're a providing partner, you're a providing father, you're a providing business partner, there are definitely chances that when you die, a lot of people will be affected. And this should definitely, this should affect the way you make decisions. For example, we saw this young journalist that died, and the picture is there in the broadcast. You'll see it later. He's where he was buried. You'll definitely realize that he's one of the breadwinners. He's one of the guys that had progressed in life. Okuva, from the background that he came from, and he was able to buy himself a new car, because a Paso UBG is definitely newer than my car, which tegeera. And then he was going on for further studies, and then he was an award-winning journalist. He was a great man, which tegeera. And then to find that he died in an accident that could have easily been avoided by him probably sleeping at work or sleeping at a place where he was, and then he's struggling. But also we need to understand that it doesn't matter what kind of job you're doing. If you take it too far, it can kill you. I know he had deadlines and we all have deadlines. Ochitegeera. So that's cancer. That's really sad. That's really sad. Lobar pneumonia. Probably pneumonia. What's the cause? I think the cause is basically air. Like the child gets affected by air. Probably neglect. Now, I don't want to judge, but I know that all the cases that I've seen of pneumonia is the parent neglecting the child
when they are young.
When they are young, you get, yeah. So you need to understand how impactful. This guy had progressed a lot in life. Probably, they don't really move marriage. We are reflecting on life. This guy had progressed a lot in life, and his life, him being alive, was influencing the people he was working with, the girlfriend or the girlfriends, because at his level of success, he wasn't married. So I'm thinking he had a lot of girlfriends that were tagging along. Eh? So he had the influence. So many people looked up to him, and they wanted. You would see the interviews on TV where people were saying, "Oh, this guy was this lovely. Oh, this guy had done this for me. Oh, this guy had taught me this. Oh, this guy had done this." You get, and it's something that we should not take for granted, that your life means a lot to so many people. Katisa wenu, nze, I have cousins batobange, they look up to me. Some of them will not come up to me and say, "Oh, Arthur, what you do actually influences my life." Have you answered this guy? I think these comments take some time to come, by the way. I've learned today. Yeah, so you need to understand, Kati JK, imagine if you died today. Just imagine the number of lives you would. Kati fewa no wakauka kwa YouTube would be sudden to Kati, if we are not informed, would all of a sudden not be hearing from JK, and then would start missing you. JK has been very resourceful. The kind of information you share with us here, the answers you give the people that have questions, just having you around engaging is something. Now just imagine if you died abruptly. That would be something. So now you need to make decisions in Gochimanyi. However unimportant you think you are important in someone's life. Emma, your daughter, just imagine, should be devastated. Me, my 2 boys, my God. There's a time I wasn't with my boys for like 3 weeks. Projects. And at that time Aban is the oldest, but he was really young, and he started calling me uncle. My God, that was heartbreaking. You know, for 3 weeks yali muto, of course, but he started inajangangamba uncle. You can imagine how fast your kids can forget you. So you should definitely make every decision. You should make every decision right now, not even for you, but for your kids. Make the decisions for your kids. Because your kids, especially for us men, my kids are my legacy. The kind of child we live on this earth, you can imagine Mulwana left 3 kids. One is the CEO for Uganda Batteries, the other is the CEO for Nice House of Plastics, for Jessa, and then the other one is marketing manager for Nice House of Plastics. They are all engaged. They are all engaged in the business, and they are all not bangaruwa abantu bogera Mulwana ichamota omwana we gay bichi ochitegera. But Mulwana died of his own causes, because Omwana Gobali Bagamba is the CEO of Uganda Batteries, and the company has grown over 2 times from the time that Mulwana left it in 10 years. And for the guys that have managed businesses in Uganda, you should tell me, is it easy to grow a company 200%? And he has grown the company more than 200%. So but at least he has done justice to his father's business. And there is no evidence on that.
He can even take you to court.
Exactly, he can. So, but those were the things that were going around. But these kids have gone on to do big things. And imagine, without you around, do you think there is a person that can teach your kids to be this? None. Okay, it would be a very lucky coincidence. I've seen kids that were raised by their stepfathers and stepmothers, and trust me, it's purely their work. Era ne bwebajja ne bapraising abazadde wano ku graduation, I'm praising lwakumuweerera, not for ne bwebera guidance, abatamanyi guidance ntuuvu, kano ka guidance akatono kaafuna ye kaaba amanyi nti kamaanyi nnyo. So me, I personally understand that we need to understand how important we are in other people's lives. I know that there are so many people that look up to me for guidance, and if I died, their lives would not be the same, because first of all, their families because there are those families nga mama mumongwa, tata mumongwa, bonna tebategeera nga ne baganda be tebategeera because they were raised by parents abatategeera. Kati nga mu mikwano ffe baafuna, muffe emikwano mwe muli omuntu asobola okumutuza n'amubuulira amazima. Exactly. I gave you an example of one of my friends when nali nkyabeera, when I had a band, I had a disco, and this one friend of mine yali ngaabeera nnyo ewange. Basically when nali mpangisa on the 2 bedrooms, I had plenty of friends. In my house there would be like 5 guys nga babeera nange at a time, and I would make these funny stupid business mistakes, and I got in debt to the extent that when I was 26 I had a debt of about 38 million. Yes.
Wow, that is enough for you to get ulcers.
No, but I didn't get ulcers. But then after paying off that debt, I sat down and I reflected, and I thought I had friends, and then this friend of mine was particularly close to me, and I went and sat him down. Navuga nali mvuga dudu ebiseera ebyo nga abeera kikoni, nevuga dudu nengenda nempaka namuga Eddie jangu twogeremu. Fuck, I've said his name. I wasn't supposed to say his name. Nemuyita nemugamba jangu twogeremu. Najja nemugamba yeah, I made these mistakes, and I don't blame him at all. We were still young, and I asked him, I made these mistakes, these business mistakes. You saw me. Nangaba, yes, I said, why didn't you tell me?
You're a yagama because I feared you.
Yes. And I said, how do you see your friend making these mistakes? And he told me, and it totally made sense, because in a way, I was a little better off than him. So it makes sense that people would fear to tell you the truth. And from that moment, I swore to myself that I would never keep quiet when a friend is making mistakes. Nze ne bwaba jajja wange muntu mukulu, but I tell her jajja awukoze ensobi. Right now we have chetuyita in my family, nze ne muto wange nali ngambeera naye wano recently, tulina chetuyita cold war. Tulina omuntu mu family yaffe ayinamu ku ssente asinga buli omu, naye agenda alinnya buli muntu ku mutwe. And these people have tolerated for a very long time. So there is a time ayina kye yakola nengenda mbeebuuzeeko, ne mbagamba ye nze muntu mubi, ne bagamba nedda naffe, ne mbagamba but how can you tolerate this? Tetuganye temulina sente nga ye, ni temukiza mwe mu pretending bino bye bireeta neddogo mu mafamily. Ne mbagamba, do you know what, nze sigenda kuddamu kubeera mu family gatherings zino paka nga mutuziza meeting ebalanga intervention, and you tell this person that you know what you do doesn't make all of us happy. Because then we can finally be a family that is genuinely happy, that is genuine with each other. And I made it clear to them. They have not called this meeting, and apparently almost everyone apart from this person's very own kids has been feeling like this for a very long time, but nobody is actually telling this person. But mulinze muntu ayavuwale, because these things actually come out when the person actually goes broke, ngaze kutaka, and they have no money, and they are the people that are supposed to help him, and they refuse to help him because he was bad to them. And they were saying, mukama ali musasula.
They call it reciprocation.
That's what they are waiting for this person to actually go broke, and then they start laughing. And I told them, no, we don't wait for this person to go broke. Let's tell this person when they can still change. And fekati nze ne mutu wange tujiyita cold war. We are in a cold war. We don't talk to this person. Yetereze. And me, from that moment when I sat with my friend Nangamba Echintu, I decided that I will never ever keep quiet when a person is making a mistake. So that's why newe mangenda kuyamba kugula motoka. When I see you blundering, I tell you.
Ngamba ndijala kuddayo mu Mazda.
Oyagala kudda mu Mazda nkugamba Mazda wali girese. There is a person who was buying a can mugamba n'agisima ne mwana yesigenda kugisako mukono gwange siriiko kubagiguze. You can buy it if you like it, but siriiko. And the car was good, but the kind of investment that was being put in this car wasn't worth it. And I told him, man, I don't like dates, but they are inevitable sometimes. JK, but the kind of dates I was getting into, they were like stupid. I was young. I'm ambitious naturally, but then I was stupid, and it took someone to slap me on the cheek and say, Arthur, wake up, don't do this. You approach him and tell him personally. I'm the kind that tells it as it is. And JK, this particular person in our family is a person that I've told before what they did wrong, and they did not talk to me for a year. And at that time, I think I was 22 or 23. I've always been an open person. This person did something, and I told them, and he did not talk to me for a year. And then I went to my grandmother and I told her, and I told her, and my grandmother told me, you go and apologize. I know you're not in wrong. And then I apologized. But then I thought I was the bad person. But then I realized that even my grandmother has been tolerating this bullshit for more than 20 years. Which again, I'm not going to tolerate it. Katinze, because I'm a king in my kids' home. So the second I could join because on seeing a sente. Because now 5 years from now, sija kuba wendi because Siri went 5 years ago. Which again. So anyway, but it's important for us to understand how important we are in people's lives. And then net decisions. You see the kind of this person that I'm telling you about. They don't understand. Like, but what we say if I find this gentleman here named Boruyi, I may not know that my kids will one day find him in an office somewhere and they need help. Let me give you an example. At a certain time, a guy worked with my wife, who was my girlfriend then. He did not make the blunder of vibing my chick and sleeping with her. He did not. Now, I want you to relate this. Today, I'm working with a chick who is his girlfriend, and I did not know. Watch it again. If he had slept with my girlfriend then, and probably we separated, I have a chance to sleep with his girlfriend now. Because I'm in a position where I can actually make it happen. I was just thinking about it, not that I thought about making it happen, but when I realized that this chick might actually be this guy's girlfriend, I thought about, there's a time this guy was in a position of power. He could have done this to me. And if he had done that to me, and then I'm in a position where now I'm in a position of power, and his girlfriend is under me, I could have done the same. You see how small the world is. And the year I'm talking about is 2012. Now you can imagine,
10 years.
More than 10 years, and I'm in a position where I'm also supervising the girlfriend. Do you realize how small the world is? So whichever decision we make today can affect us even 20 years from now, because the world is small. So if you're in a position where you can stop your friend from making mistakes, don't keep quiet about it. If you're in a position where you yourself can stop yourself from making mistakes, don't make them. If you're in a position where you should not overspeed, don't overspeed. Topapa, don't take it too far. Like if you have a job and at this job, let's say you have deadlines, but these days are taking a toll on you, don't get diabetes because of work. Don't get pressure because of work. Because if you die, this job is going to replace you in a day. People are waiting for your position. So don't take it too far. I was talking to you yesterday and you were like, okay, after bucket, like I've realized that, okay, I've been too seriously. They are not really that serious.
You still have the energy to carry a bucket and jerrycan.
Exactly. And it's okay. We have been doing this since like we were 2 years. Those are 40
kgs.
Yes, probably that's why I'm short. Like there are things that we should, and I think my wife has taught me to take things. Are you okay?
It's okay.
Yeah, and I need to get permission from him. So this is the gentleman. You introduce yourself officially.
Nicolas Salme by name. I'm a food technologist. with a practice for about 11 years.
Yes.
So I'm an expert in product development in line with dairy technology, juice processing, fizzy drinks manufacturing, and meat processing.
Yes.
So you can, I already shared my contacts.
The contacts are in the comments.
You can follow through the comments.
Yeah.
On the chats, you can see my contact.
Yeah. Agambe, nice to see you. So that's it. Salmin kati ofunye contact yao togamba nti ate business ate abagula enkoko zange ku farm bangula raisi abagula amata gange banseera. You can definitely
do value addition.
Yeah, you can do value addition.
Where we are heading,
yeah,
you have to do value addition in order to get profit, good returns from agriculture.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. So anyway, I think I've almost covered everything I came to cover, and my time is done. I'm supposed to be here for 1 hour, and then makanika gwenninda tatuuka naye nali ku live alaba ya commenting no commentinga okundaga nti ndoza alaba sebo yanguwa. So anyway, but whichever thing you do today, do it knowing that 10 years from now it might not affect you, but it might affect your kids. I personally try as much as possible to be good to people. I realize that you being good to people even get God to bless you.
Yes, you open portals for blessings.
Exactly, you open portals for blessings. So every decision you take today, ngatonda vuma muntu oyo genda kuvuma, think okay, what might happen 5 years from now? Are there chances that I can find him somewhere and he has opportunity to help me, and he doesn't help me because I abused him? What do we say mbi ensanga abasajja ba taxi na kuvuma abasajja ba lole na kuvuma n'ogalaka kati bwe muddamu n'engendo okwanjula n'ensanga nga ye muko okitegeera then n'okireka nekigenda kyobulaba nti it's very rare for me to abuse someone stupid era mga wayigira wa, because that's something I can defend ne bwembeera mu lukiiko lwakika ngamba ati wali ovuga bubi okitegeera wayigira wa. It's very hard for you nyina ebigambo byesiisa mu kamwa. Actually it's
the words. People should know that the words we speak depict the state of our hearts.
Exactly.
Out of the abundance of our hearts we speak. So
yes.
You have to be very cautious
what you say.
What we say.
If you said dirty words, it means your heart is actually dirty. Now, guys, the months of practice to actually say that word as openly as this person has said it. So that example, Jemba, what day a guy supervising my girlfriend then in 2012, and now I'm supervising the person I think is the girlfriend. I've not yet confirmed it, but the omanyi kati WhatsApp ya tuono nira. You save a person's contact, they save your contact. You can see their WhatsApp statuses. Now I see from the statuses, I'm going to ask this lady, of course, is so and so your boyfriend, which right? And then I confirm. But I just thought about it that if this person yali yankola bubi nga yampitamu okitegeera, now I have a chance okumuyitamu and I will not. But me, the word oli musiru nga kindi kumpi nnyo oba nkola ntakyejjeemu. Actually kikyusa ogambe otegeera, because okutegeera comes from exposure.
Instead of sometimes just bless people. Omuntu akoze ekyo ekintu ekibi you are glorious. You are created in God's image. Whatsoever you've done,
you're taking it too far. Omuntu akola ekintu ekisiru aba akoze kyakisiru. Kyobola you turn it a bit down nomga wa yotegeera.
You give it a benefit of doubt that probably they haven't erred. It is not in their nature to error.
Yeah.
Probably they had they slept on the wrong side of the bed. Yeah.
The words you speak are like a short bullet. You can't reverse it. You may apologize, but that doesn't mean people forget. Totally. Na when kugamba wayigirawa, you should go and reflect, because sometimes I am a person that believes that we should apportion blame. With everything that happens, JK, someone caused it. Obo yagala oba toyagala. Kati omuntu bw'avuga obubi n'otamulaga nti avuze bubi, agenda kusigala avuga bubi. I would actually prefer that someone actually tells me. Okitegeera, Salmin said ebyo JK abisobera ebya gorgeous. He said glorious, not gorgeous. JK, we need to apportion blame, especially in a country like us, Uganda, where wrong is normal. Uli makanika ali mu field eyo. Actually, that's one of the filters that we sold to one of my customers. Okay. Sebo, emotoka eyo bwoba wagivuze nga nnyini yo tategedde bambi. Njogedde sitegedde nti gye wavuze. Yeah. Anyway, so JK, we need to apportion blame. If something breaks at home, someone has broken it.
They need to be accountable.
Exactly. Kati bwe mubuuza gundi otegeera bulungi mba simuvumye era kyenjogedde si kinene nnyo okitegeera because senga obadde otegeera bulungi tewali yasizza weeyagadde taata moroka ovuga mpya twagigula 23 naye kati n'oginoonya 23 togifuna 26. Yeah, they have really gone up. Essaawa eno okufuna emmotoka eyo. Anyway guys, I think I have to go. Temulaba tetukikavarinze. Reflection is very important. Weebuulirire. My young bro yali angamba naye ate olabika biseera ebisinga gwe weebuulira nange nyina okukiyiga naye ate nze nange seebuulira. I think one of the things that has helped me to become a better person is exercise. There are things, by the way, byetulabanga ebiri simple. Exercise has helped me. Yeah. I used to be moody. I used to have a lot of tantrums,
But that frustration, you put it on
exactly on the people
gym
next
equipment or punching bag.
Exactly. And I think it helps my mood. I think I spent like 30 minutes. I think nkolanga 40 minutes because soka nenkola omukono, nenkola shoulder, nenkola muko ku kifuba. I think I spent like 40 minutes when tuke waka went. It helps my mood. Even my wife will tell you that my mood is much better than it was 10 years ago.
Just taking a walk is enough.
Yeah.
You feel you are
you get revitalized.
Just take a walk, you see nice things.
Something
will drift you off what was stressing you.
Yeah. You should be LC5 chairman in that area. Munange Salmin in politics. I wanted to run for mayor. Then again, politics is very dangerous. So I'll keep my influence in my circles. I'll run for political office, but in my industry. I can probably go for Marketers Society and run for a position, go to the Theatrical Association or Federation of Performing Artists, run for there I can have my influence there. And I know open politics. Abantu batugana okutuga, so I quit. Obwa meya nali bulidde because ekigambo nkirina. Nali bakubye word. But anyway guys, I have to say bye bye. Tumalo kuliye kyenkya kyaffe ngono guy tanajja. Thank you very much for being part of this broadcast, and thank you Nicholas for being part of this. Martha, Emma, Innocent, thank you very much for reminding me that we need to reflect. Yeah, I think this topic tuyambyeko ffenna nange mwenyini to reflect a little more on especially the decisions we make. Brian, Alan, JK, Pasco Joseph, Salmin, Onzima Anthony, Isaac, Gaetano, Pasco Joseph I've already said. Nico,
there's Salmin.
Yeah, Salmin, yes. Solo Extra,
Math Academy, of course.
Yes. Yeah, Arthur, don't think of politics. We still need you. Definitely, Gaetano, politics na move ako. Anyway, thank you very much. Namu abali mukamori. I don't take your effort and data and energy for granted. Don't forget, I do pre-purchase inspection. If you want to buy a car and you want to buy a car in good condition, but you definitely have to come to me. I charge a small fee of 400,000, and that's how I keep the lights on here. That's how I can do these broadcasts and also do the uploads that I do. I've not done uploads in a very long time, but it's because I've been very busy, and the fruits in Jabba will either very soon why I've been very busy. But I'll do uploads soon. Yeah, but I'll see you tomorrow morning. I'm going to schedule the live for today. Thank you very much. Now I download this and you're watching it probably today evening or next week or next month or next year. Thank you very much. I also sell car alarms and car tracking devices. I wish you a very nice day. May God bless you.